자, 여러분 안녕하세요. 자, let's take a look at the grammar and usage part of lesson 2. Today we are going to talk about the present tense polite ending 어요, 아요 form. This is one of the most important thing in beginning one. 예, 그래서 please pay special attention to this part. 자, Korean verbs and adjectives change their forms. We call this process conjugation, 그래요. Or conjugate, depending on the context that is determined by tense, tense in present or past. The subject of the sentence. If the subject is older than the speaker, or the speaker himself or herself, and the formality of the situation. If the situation is very formal, like presentation or job interview or casual conversation with your friends. So we have to consider tense and the relationship between the speaker and the listener and the situation, something like that. The polite ending 어요, 아요 conjugation is one of the most basic conjugations. The most basic part of a verb or an adjective is the stem, on which we attach various grammatical elements. A dictionary form is the basic form of a verb or an adjective used as a dictionary entry, which is composed of a stem and meaningless 다. 그래요. 그래서 on our words list, you will find that verbs and adjectives end with 다, 그래요, 다. Because they change their forms depending on those kind of factors. So we need to show them in a consistent form. So we have this dictionary form. So you can identify a stem by removing 다 from the dictionary form. In this textbook, verbs and adjectives will be presented in their dictionary forms in the vocabulary list. It makes sense, 그렇죠? Yeah. So we'll take a look at some examples a little later. As I said, Korean verbs and adjectives conjugate depending on the tense, social status, for example, age differences, and the formality of the context. The polite ending 어요, 아요 is the most frequently used sentence ending, which implies the speaker's polite attitude to the addressee, to the listener. The ending is mostly used with adult addressees. So to a little kid, we don't really use this 어요, 아요 ending. But since you guys are mostly grown-ups, you have to learn this ending. 자, 그러면 이제 let's take a look at some examples here. 좋다, to be good, 그렇죠. This is the dictionary form. And remove 다 from this, then 좋. This part is the stem of this adjective. And you put 아요 for conjugation and you say 좋아요, 그래. 좋아요, something is good. And 앉다, to sit. You remove 다 from the dictionary form 안. And you put 아요, 그러면 앉아요, 그렇죠. So how do we know that we need 아요? So when the last vowel of the stem is either 아 or 오, we attach 아요. 자, 그러면 여기 stem. Last syllable. It has only one syllable. 그래서 조, 그렇죠? It has O. Its vowel is O, 그렇죠? Then we put 아요. And in case of 안, it has 아. Then we use 아요, 그렇죠? So 아 or O, then we need 아요. So it's simple, 그렇죠? And when the last vowel of the stem ends with other than 아 or O, then we need 어요, 그래요, 어요. 있다, to exist or to have, stem part, it. And it has 이, 그렇죠? So it's not either 아 or 오, then we need 어요. 있어요, 그래, 있어요. There is something, or I have something, she has something, 있어요. 없다, 없다. You remove 다, not exist, 그렇죠? Not have. Then the last syllable, this only syllable has this Then it's not either 아 or 오, then we need 어요. 없어요, 없어요. 그렇죠? 먹다 means to eat. And you remove 다 to get the stem of this verb. And 먹, eat. And it has then we need 어요. 먹어요, 먹어요. 맛있다, delicious. And the last syllable of the stem is it. it has E. It's not either 아 or 오. Then we need 어요. 맛있어요. 맛있어요. 그렇죠? 예. So please be used to with these forms. 있어요, 없어요, 먹어요. So yeah, it is really difficult if you have to think about these rules 뭐 all the time. 그러면 it's really complicated. 그러니까 just be familiarized with these conjugated forms. 있어요, 뭐 없어요, 먹어요, 맛있어요, 뭐 좋아요, 앉아요. Then it will be much easier to say those words. There are some variations. When the last syllable of a stem ends with a vowel, the conjugation forms appears irregularly. 그렇죠? 보세요. 마시다 그렇죠? 마시다. 그럼 to drink. And it does not have 아 or 오. Then we need 어요. 그럼 마시어요. 마시어요. 시어, 시어, 시어. If you pronounce 시어 quickly, it will become 이어 이렇게 돼요. 이어, 이어, 이어. 이어, 이어, 이어. 이어 그렇죠? 마셔요. So drink. So we write this way. When the stem ends with 아, then 아 should be dropped. What this means is 가다 그러면 stem is 가. And we need 아요 because it ends with 아. 그러면 가아요, 가아요. 그러면 it sounds redundant. 그렇죠? 가아요, 가아요. 그래서 eventually we just drop this 아. 그래서 가요. When the stem ends with 에, then 어 should be dropped. It's not either 아 or 오. So 지내다, 지내어요. 그렇죠? 지내어요, 지내어요. It sounds redundant. 그래서 지내요. 그래요. 예, 지내요. 그 다음에 when the stem ends with 그러면은 should be dropped. 크다. 그러면 크어요, 커요, 커요. So if you pronounce them together, sound is very weak. So we pronounce this like 커요. 그렇죠? 그래서 we write this way. So yeah, they are kind of irregular forms. 마셔요, to drink. 가요, to go. 지내요, to spend time. 커요, big. copula, do you remember copula? 저는 한국 사람이에요, 미국 사람이에요. So you remember 이에요, 그쵸? 이에요. And 하다 means to do. 하다는요, it's a very basic verb. 그래요. 그래서 this copula, 이다 and 아니다 and 하다, they have specific forms for this polite ending, present tense form. For 이다, we need 이에요. We already learned in this form. 그렇죠. 저는 한국 사람이에요. And sometimes 이에요 is contracted to 예요. When do we contract this into 예요? 저는 남자예요. So when there is no consonant at the bottom of the last syllable of the preceding noun, then we use 예요. 그래서 저는 남자예요. 저는 바보예요. 바보 means fool. 그래서 I'm a fool. 저는 바보예요. 그래요. 아니다, 아니에요. 그렇죠? 그래서 아니에요. 이에요 and 아니에요. Please remember them separately from other verbs and adjectives. 그렇죠? 그 다음에 하다는 to do something. 그래요. 그런데 하다 conjugation is 해요. 그래요. 해요. Actually, the original form of 해요 is 하여요, but in contemporary Korean, we prefer this shortened form 해요. 그래요. 해요. But for other conjugations, we'll see 하여 form later. 근데 이제 by now, just remember 해요. 해요 form. 공부하다, so you can see lots of verbs ends with 하다. 그러면은 뭐 verbs and adjectives. 착하다 그러면 to be nice. Person is very nice. 뭐 kind. 그러면 착하다 그래요. 착하다. 그러면 착해요. 착해요. 제 친구는 착해요. So my friend is very nice. and good-hearted. 착해요. 숙제해요. 그럼 to do homework. 공부해요. to study. 그렇죠? 그래서 하다 and other 하다 ending words. 그러면은 we conjugate them into 해요 form. And there are other irregular forms that do not follow the regular rules. 어떻다, 어때요? 요거 어때요? 그럼 how is something? 그 다음에 그렇다, 그래요? 그러면은 is that right? So we have some irregular forms too. And we will learn more irregular forms later. But by now, just practice this over and over again until you understand them perfectly and fluently. 자, 자꾸 연습을 하세요. 예. 그러면 여러분 감사합니다.